Welcome back to the secret underground lair. So today we are going to be modifying drawer slides. I have already removed the soft close feature and the stop pin from this slide. This is how it looks when it comes out of the box. So I'm going to mount this up in the vise. Start by cutting off that flange and cutting off that hook. That's today's adventure, drawer slide modifications. So next I want to cut off this flange, but I do want to protect this surface. I don't want to get a lot of grit in here, so I'm going to run some tape just around this to kind of keep it clean. Just put some painter's tape just around here just to kind of keep the grit from getting onto the track. Now I'm going to be cutting down here. I'm cutting, of course, from the back side where you can't see, but you'll see the blade come through. I'll just give that a little brush off with some sandpaper. Maybe a file, but I think sandpaper will do just to kind of get rid of the roughness of that. Sorry, the next little bit of modification is remove this tab, then drilling holes through this piece to allow the screws to attach this onto the side of the drawer. So the holes that are going to be drilled in this piece are put in to accommodate this kind of a screw. So it's just a 3/4 inch screw, flat head. So I'm going to be drilling a hole through here this way. Whoops, drilling a hole through here this way, through both sides. Then I'm going to flip the piece over, drill a 1/4 inch hole, enough to accommodate the head and a countersink bit on just this surface. Then I'll move the countersink through right through so that I can countersink the hole on this bottom edge to accommodate the screw. So the screw is going to sit in this piece like so, in a little countersink, to keep the head of the screw flush with the inside surface here, allowing clearance for the drawer slide. I'll go over to the drill press and set the camera up there. All right, I've got you in for a real tight shot. You may get a couple chips flying your way. Just be warned. All right, now I'm going to The holes on this surface represent where the screw is going to come through. Now I'm going to drill a larger hole here that will accommodate the countersink bit, and then we'll run the countersink through, put a little countersink on the surface there. All right, we're back with a slightly larger bit. This is a 1/4 inch. That'll should accommodate the countersink bit. You may have noticed that I marked on this piece, I drew a big circle on one side and a little tiny circle on the other side, just to remind me that this is where the small hole is and this is where the big hole's got to be. So I do all these little marks just to help avoid confusion when I bring the piece over to the machine that's going to do the work. Now you'll notice too that I am really close to the end on this piece, and that is because I have this little tab over here. And that little tab is what restricts the drawer slide, keeps it from falling off the track. So I need to keep that and be very mindful of it. So the screw is just going to be on the outside edge of that tab. And this larger hole is just to accommodate, as I said, the countersink bit, which is here. Let's see if I got the right size bit. No, I think I'm going to have to go up. Just going to go up maybe 2 drill sizes. So probably go up to 9/32. Back in a minute. Okay, drilling out a slightly larger hole. Okay, that will accept our countersink bit. So I'll slip that in the drill press and we'll countersink these holes. And with the screw in there, snug down, it is just a little bit proud yet. So I'm going to go just a smidgen further with that countersink. And we have the screw sitting. I'll take that. I think that's going to be good enough. Of course, if it's not, then we'll have a little bit of work to do to fix them, but I think that'll be just fine. Okay. Next up is going to be welding some nuts on the other portion of the drawer slide. Okay, you know how I said I marked a little hole and a big hole? Well, that was a good reminder, but it really helps if you put the marks on the right side. So I'm going to have to drill those holes again. Well, a slightly different spot, but I'm still going to be okay. It's just a little frustrating. So we'll go through this process one more time. And yes, you're not imagining it. I did go one size bigger on this bit. I noticed the screw was just, I had to thread it to get it through the last hole. So this is up a 64th bigger than the 1/8 bit I was using before. All right, let's go on to the 9/32 and drill the big hole on this side this time. Okay, the test fit of the countersunk screw worked really well. So now I'm just going to drill out the other piece of the drawer slide to accommodate this machine screw. Perfect fit. Now we're going to weld on nuts on each end of this. All right, a lot of bits here to visualize and conceptualize. And my explanations about how the drawer slides are going to work has been a little bit vague. So let me try and illustrate something that has come to my attention and is a little deviation from what I wanted to do, but it is an inevitable and must happen. So what you're looking at here would be the back corner of the drawer. The floor, of course, the drawer will sit in here. This is not the floor, just a little test piece, but a scrap actually. So the floor, underneath the floor of the drawer, we have this drawer slide. I have the drawer slide now mounted onto a real side. This is an actual side of the drawer. And this is the back. It's just a temporary piece, just a scrap. But what would happen now is as the drawer slides forward, like we're pulling it open now, we get to a point where this part of the drawer slide, and that's a little bit difficult to see, so I'm just going to slide this white underneath here so you can see that a little bit better. So as the drawer opens, so we're sliding towards we're opening it up now. I get the back of the drawer slide hitting the back of the drawer. I was hoping I wouldn't have that problem, didn't think it quite through enough. So what that means, and this is what I understand to be a conventional practice with this type of drawer slide, is we open up a little slot here on the back of the drawer. So there will be a little opening about a ½ an inch high from the bottom of the drawer to here, and from that over to about the edge here. It can be a little bit less, but I'll take it right over to the edge of the, that's part of the lower box joint. So gonna be a little tricky to deal with that. So I'll take this apart again and show you what we're working with. So if we were to look at the back of the drawer, where the side will meet the back of the drawer, and that drawer slide hits the back, that is the profile that I need to cut out to accommodate the drawer, accommodate the drawer slide. Now, in reality, I would not cut a piece like that because that's just a little bit too much and a little convoluted. So I believe it would make more sense just to cut out a square notch like so. But I don't want to cut that out before the drawer is put together, otherwise I really risk losing this tooth entirely. It's only going to be held on by about 1/8 of an inch here. On pine, that's not going to do anything. So what I will do is assemble the drawers and then cut this little notch out of the back on each side of the drawer to accommodate that little relief that the slide will need to move open. I was hoping to have the backs of the drawers completely closed in, but that's just not possible with this kind of drawer slide. So little gap in the back corner, but as I say, it's the back of the drawer, probably up against the wall. You're not going to see it. Just kind of bugs me. All right, so what I'm going to do is continue with the modification of the door slides. This is now ready to go. I've got a little nut welded in at each end. Tabs taken off, holes drilled in the right spot, and able to mount onto the, you can see our little screw set in there. And it sits relatively flush, not completely flush, but enough that we get enough clearance for the door slide. So I'll continue on with the other 5 slides and get them ready for installation. So I'm going to put together a little montage of disassembling the slides, drilling the holes, welding them up, putting it all back together. But I just thought I'd show you quickly what I'm doing in each of these steps. So first, I removed this plastic little pin here. That requires the use of some needle nose pliers on the other side to kind of squeeze together a thing that lets me pull that out. That's discarded. That lets this piece slide right off the back of this assembly. Next, I'm going to be removing the soft close feature, and that involves punching from the other side a little bit to lift up these 3 tabs that hold that in place. Then that slides off that way. A little tap on this end will push it out. Then I'll drill the holes out, weld on the nut, not necessarily in that order. What I'll probably do first is cut that off, and then cut this tab off here, drill these holes out. I may not even do that because I've switched to a slightly smaller hole, so I probably don't need to drill those out anymore. But I can weld on the nuts here, and then we need to drill the holes into this top piece. So that's what you'll see me do in a little series of montages. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. This can't come out until this comes out. So still need to take that little plastic clip out. So we'll take out the plastic clip, then we'll take out these, and then they all slide apart. So there's our 6 drawer slides, all modified. First one put on, just so we know how that's going to work. Next step, assembling the drawers. So thanks very much for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.